So you have the events to dispatch, and basically you are going to broadcast the remaining time and the randomly generated number after the remaining time goes to 0. But how are you going to coordinate that? Because you need to be sure to set the remaining time event second after second, and once you go to 0, broadcast the new event with the randomly generated number, and after that start this remaining time counting again. So the best option for this, I think, should be a command from Laravel, and fortunately for you, you are going to be able to create commands of Laravel very easy as usual with Laravel. So we can use PHP Artisan for this, and you can use the make command, and we are going to create a command which is going to be game executor. The game executor is going, well, to execute the game, so we need to go to app, console, commands, and there you have your command. So the signature is basically the way as you are going to call this command from PHP Artisan. So let's use something like game execute. We have an optional description. Let's say something like start executing the game. And finally, we have a constructor. We don't need to do nothing there. And the best part is the handle. In the handle, we are going to say what to do with this command once it is executed. So we are going to do this in an endless loop. So while true, we are going to execute and broadcast second after second our remaining time event. So let's start with that broadcast. We are going to send a new instance of remaining time changed. And for that, let's use a new attribute for this class, for this command, which is going to be the timer. So let's add this. This can be private time. And we are going to start this for 15 by default. For example, you can use any other number, 13, 16, but as bigger is the number, you probably will need to wait more time from one execution to another. So let's keep that in 15, and we are going to use that exact same value. So this time, then we need to use or basically concatenate the time unit, which is going to be seconds. So this is going to be 15s, which means 15 seconds, then 10 seconds, etc. Once we broadcast this, we need to reduce the counter. And after that, we need to sleep this thread from 1 second. So this is going to be 15, 14, 13, etc. second exactly after exactly another second. Now, if this counter goes to 0, we need to do something different. In this case, we have first stop the counter and let's say put the default value of waiting to start. So this time is going to be equals to a string waiting to start. This is basically the same default value that we established for our counter in our view. Remember, on resources, views, game, we have the show, and the default value is waiting to start. So we are going to use this exact value. So at the value of the time change, so we need to broadcast the same event again with this new specific value. But this time we are not going to append the S because it will say waiting to starts. And we don't want that. So we just need to remove the S from there. Now, once we have this, well, we need to broadcast a new event, and that event is for the random number. So we are going to generate the winner number. And as I said, we just need to generate that randomly, and we can use empty run from PHP. And remember, this must be a number between 1 and 12. So once the number has been generated, we are going to give to the user an additional time before the game starts again. Let's say 5 seconds. So we are going to sleep this command, this thread for 5 seconds before to start the game again. And to start the game again, we just need to establish a new value for the time. So we are going to start from scratch, which is going to be 15. So we have this time is going to be equals to 15, the exact same value that we used here to initialize this attribute. So if everything is okay, we can be allowed to debug this. So let's go to our events, remaining time changed, and debug the value. Remember, I will alt friend lock debug, and we can pass there the time. Remember to add the backslash at the beginning of this line to avoid importing this definition, because this is just temporal. And let's do exactly the same in the winner number generated. So let's go to broadcast on and to debug, not in this case the time, but the number. So if everything is okay, we should be able to go to our command prompt, execute PHP artisan, and you can see how we have a new group of commands called game, and we have game execute inside there. So let's use this with PHP artisan, of course. But it looks like we have an error. Basically, I made a mistake here, and of course, I completely missed to import the definition of the event. So let's go back to the game executor, and we need to import the definition of remaining time changed, and the same for winner number generated. You can see all of them coming from here, from our app events folder. So if we save and go back to our command prompt and try again, let's do it. You can see how it is starting. And if we go to our log, so let's go to storage, logs, Larave.log, and we go to the bottom, you have here the execution flow, 15, 14, 13, 10, 9, 8, 7. And we go again to this file. We can see how this goes to 1 second, and once it goes to 0, it changes to waiting to start, generated a new number, which is 11. And if we try to go back again, you can see at the bottom again, you have the flow started again. Once the random number is generated, so we start the remaining count time again. So at this point, you have your game working perfectly, and you are broadcasting the events on real time. And once again, the only thing that we have to do is go to our view and listen for that events and interact with our user interface and basically with our users on real time, showing the results on the view. So let's go to do that in the following class.